my testimony. I'm a survivor shirt.
That is gorgeous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of Overcome by My Testimony. I'm a survivor. Today's episode is talking about a 10-year survivor, my sister, Marie. And we're going to hear her journey through having breast cancer and where she was through that journey and where she is today. So thank you, Marie, for agreeing to do this. And I'm so glad that God decided to heal you from having breast cancer 10 years ago.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you for asking.
How did your journey with breast cancer begin?
So in about this time of year in 2014, 2014, I noticed.
As gross as you want to.
I noticed some liquid coming out, and I went to the doctor, and they said we needed to go to heaven. Oh, there was no lump. I didn't feel any lump. I wasn't even thinking cancer. I was thinking it was just some, cancer wasn't even on my mind. So they sent me to get an ultrasound of my left breast, and I was in there, and then they had to do another, she left the room to talk to the doctor, and then she kept coming back, and so then when the ultrasound was done, they had me in the waiting room, and then the doctor came and said, we need to see you, there's some spots, we're not sure, it could be cancer. I think they told me the percentage was like maybe, I forgot, but it didn't sound that bad. I still was like, I was kind of shocked, but I was like, okay, this might still be okay. And then I went to a breast specialist, and I got the actual biopsy, which was extremely painful. They pull it out with a needle, you're wide awake. And then about, I don't know, less than a week later, she had me come back in the office, and she told me that I had early stage breast cancer.
And so you called it early on.
Yes, it was early, which was, thank God for that. Yeah.
How did you feel, and what was your first reaction to hearing you had breast cancer?
Shock. It's like shock. I call it cancer world. Like my whole mentality, like my whole frame of mind, and like it just kind of switches, and you're like in a different, almost like a different
state of mind.
Yeah, like I was shocked. I was shocked, and I didn't like really. I don't know if I cried, but I was just shocked and in it like a whole different state of mind until it was over. And even now when I go back for tests, last year there was a little bit of a scare, but it wasn't that same. It's like this whole same whole shift in mentality happens. So.
Who's the first person you told, and then who did you tell subsequently after?
It was weird because I didn't tell a lot of people. I tend to do that when there's a major thing in my life like that. I don't tell a lot of people at first. I told, at the time, my uncle, he's not really my uncle, but he's like a close friend that I call my uncle. Him and his girlfriend were the ones that were like my main support system and helping me with my daughter, because my daughter was only 9. So they were the ones I told. And then I didn't tell like the rest of like my family and friends and stuff like that until most of them, it was like months later. Yeah.
Why?
At the time, I was very, and I still tend to be this way, but I'm better now, but I was very I just kept everything to me, and I'm just going to do it, I'm just going to take care of it, I'm just going to do what I have to do, and I don't want a bunch of other people. I don't know, it's just like I don't want.
You don't want other people to worry about it.
Yeah, and talk about it and have something. I just
continually ask you, are you okay?
Yeah,
How are you today?
Yeah.
When did you tell your daughter?
So my daughter was 9 years old, and she was very, still like a young kid. I told her. I think I told her pretty soon, but I tried to minimize it. Like, it's gonna be okay. It's good, So
So she
But
didn't get scared.
yeah, but I was so depressed and I was so different than I normally was that she knew that, it still affected her because of the way I acted so differently.
So she picked up on your emotions going through it.
Yeah.
So she mimicked those.
Yeah, and because it's just me and her, and it always has been just me and her, she's very, like, sensitive to, I've always been, like, a really hands-on mom, and I was kind of withdrawn at that time. I was kind of, like, just going through the basics of what had to get done, and then spending a lot of time, like, in my bed. Not that I was so tired, because I didn't even do chemo, I only did radiation, but, so it wasn't that the illness was so much making me tired, it was just that, that I was so depressed from it.
What were some of your struggles during your bout with breast cancer?
I would say my biggest struggle was my daughter because, like I said, I'm a single mom. I was super worried that, because it was early stage, but I went through 3 surgeries. There was another scare on the other side. It was like crazy, and I kind of started feeling the doctor didn't even know what she was doing. And so there was always in the back of my mind, am I going to die? Is this worse than what I think it is? And am I going to die? And I also had a kidney issue at the same time. So my biggest struggle was, am I going to die and leave my daughter by herself?
Did you ever express that to her?
She knows now. Back at the time, no. There was no way I was going to say, I think I might die. I don't think I did. If she was here, she might say that I did, but I don't think that I said that to her. But I was thinking it almost constantly, and just literally begging God, just let me live long enough for her to grow up, if nothing else, which He's obviously allowed me to live even longer than that. But that was my main prayer. Please just let me live long enough for her to grow up.
How did you get out of that state of mind of, am I going to die, am I going to die? Or was there never not a day that you thought that you were going to die?
I got out of it when she told me after the 3rd surgery and the biopsy on the right side was negative, then I knew that wasn't thinking I was going to die anymore. I wouldn't say I instantly was like back to my old self, but I still had to go through radiation. But I wasn't so scared that I was going to die anymore.
What were the 3 surgeries?
So she did a lumpectomy. So I was originally told that I had DCIS, which is the earliest stage breast cancer. It's not spreading at all. It's enclosed. This is okay. I'm going to have 1 surgery and it's going to be gone, and then they would do the radiation. But after the 1st surgery, I came back. I had to go across the river every time because she wouldn't tell me anything on the phone. And she told me, no, we didn't get it all. There's still some more left. And I was like, okay. So then we had then the 2nd surgery. Same thing. Went back. Nope, we didn't get it all. And now it's a little bit of a spread. So now it's like it's not DCIS anymore. But it's still a very small amount. But by the 3rd one, I'm like, does this woman know what she's doing? And then they had to do this side. There was something benign on this side, but I had to go through that. And then my mind just started thinking, like, what's going on here? And then at the same time, I had a cyst on my kidney, which was unrelated, but happened at the same time. So it really just kind of messed my head up. But then the 3rd one, she got it all. She checked the lymph nodes; they were negative, and then I was just switching doctors after that. But
why? Because you couldn't take her anymore?
No.
She was scaring you too much.
She was scaring me, and she would do I'd be like, can I just hear the results on the phone? Because I don't want to have to drive all the way over to the hospital by Marist College. And I was going by myself, and it was just really nerve-wracking. And I don't know, I guess, I don't want to talk badly about her, but I just didn't like her bedside manner.
Did you, because I know breast cancer can be hereditary, or I don't know how scientifically true that is. So did you have anybody in your family that had any kind of cancer or breast cancer?
My mom has My mom has 4 sisters, 2 of them, so out of the 5 girls, 2 of them have had breast cancer. But I did get the test for the genetic test, and I don't have the.
BRCA gene?
Yeah, I don't have that. So,
Did your daughter get tested?
no, not yet. I at some point, but I don't think she's ready for that kind of stuff yet.
You answered that question. What was your treatment? You already answered that
Yeah,
question.
I had radiation. I didn't have chemo, thank God, because that was something that I was praying that I didn't want to have to go through that. And I was supposed to take a medication called tamoxifen, and I took it a couple of times, and it reacted horribly. So I stopped taking it, and I'm still 10 years out. So.
So how long did you have it until they? How long was it from okay you have breast cancer to when they said you were in remission?
It was, I got officially diagnosed in November, and I was completely done with radiation by the end of that April of 2015. So it was only about a little less than 6 months.
Did having breast cancer change you? If so, how? If not, why not?
It did. It made me. It made me not take life for granted so much. You know, like I always feel, and then my illness in 2020, especially unrelated, but I always feel like I'm on borrowed time. Not like in a scared way, but just like in a. I used to feel like my life is this long thing, and I'm gonna live to be like 80, and it's just like a given. And now I just feel like every day is just another blessing. Like I could have not been here. I could still at some point not, in the near future not be here. All of us is the fact. And so I see life differently. Like I'm not gonna say I don't ever still get hung up or mad about stupid things, but it's way quicker now. It's way out of my head much quicker. So.
When did you find out you were in remission?
So radiation ended like the end of that April, and then I still had to do like a lot of follow-ups. Like the first couple of years, you're still doing a lot of follow-ups, but I guess when the radiation was done, I was basically in remission.
Did it change your faith? Why or why not? If so, how?
Okay, so that's a good question. So the whole time I was having breast cancer, of course I prayed a lot, and it did, because God did answer my prayers, definitely. So like, please don't let me have to have chemo. Didn't have to have chemo. Like, he definitely carried me through. And for a little while that lasted, but then I slid back again. It wasn't until I got sick in 2020 that my faith really got sealed.
Why did you slide back?
I guess just because life kind of got good again, and I wasn't worried about God because I was just having fun and not feeling like I needed God. And I always went to church on like Easter, Christmas. Yeah. Yeah. And then there was a point even after that, probably in like 2018, 2019, around those years, that I was hanging out with different people, and my faith was probably at the lowest that it ever was right before I totally got sick.
So you always felt that you needed God when you were in need, or something was wrong in life, not that you needed Him all the time.
Right. He's like my emergency contact. Yeah.
Well, he is an emergency contact.
Yes, but he's more than that.
In some cases, breast cancer is known to return, or cancer shows up in another part of the body. Has that happened to you? And how often do you get checked to see if it has returned?
It hasn't happened to me, thank God. I do get checked once a year. I get a mammogram. I'm due essentially. I don't have like the rest of my body checked because it was such a early stage. It wasn't that much cancer. They don't do that. I would have to have symptoms for them to do that, and I haven't
What are symptoms?
So the places it can spread is your lungs, your brains, your bone, and your bones or your liver. And so I guess symptoms would be, shortness of breath or headaches, or not really sure what the bone symptoms would be. But
What is your regimen now after you haven't had it? Do you have a regimen? Like, have you changed the way you eat? Have you changed the way you care for yourself? Do you exercise?
I go in and out. I'm gonna be honest. I go in and out of my exercise routine, But eating, I do eat. I wouldn't say I eat super healthy, but I don't eat a lot of total. Like, I always trying to be aware of if there's hormones in my food. I don't do any dairy. I do have ice cream once in a while, but for the most part I don't do dairy. Actually, I do cheese too, but I don't drink milk. And I try to make sure that things aren't too much processed and lots of additives and preservatives. But I'm not on any strict diet.
Last question, Marie.
Wow.
Is there anything else you want to say or add that my questions did not prompt you to say?
Well, I would just say for everybody to make sure you get checked, because you don't always feel a lump. And the earlier you get it, the better. Honestly, if by the time you feel a lump, it's probably already, I'm not going to say too late, but it's already more advanced than it could be if you just get checked. And yeah, just praise God and thank God I'm still here.
I thank God you're still here too, Marie, because I'm glad I found you in the kitchen of Pop.
Right, exactly.
Well, I thank you for watching, you all. I ask you that you continue to watch, and if you have a story that you would like to share, you can email me at theref@lifeinthedaylightstudios.com. Again, you can email me at theref, that's THEREF, at lifeinthedaylightstudios.com.